The 12 30-degree sectors that make up Earth's 360-degree orbit around the Sun are referred to as astrological signs in Western astrology. The vernal equinox, also known as the first point of Aries, marks the start of spring and is when the signs begin to appear. The Western zodiac has its roots in Babylonian astrology and eventually came under the influence of Hellenistic society. Each sign was given its name after a constellation that the sun passed through every year as it crossed the sky. The simplified and widely used sun sign astrology places emphasis on this finding. Astrology is an unreliable science. Its lack of scientific validity and explanatory capacity has been demonstrated through scientific analyses of the theoretical underpinnings and experimental validation of assertions. There are other, more logical explanations for the apparent relationship between personality qualities and birth months, such as the impact of seasonal birth in people. Ancient Greek culture was impacted by Babylonian astronomy and its system of celestial omens by the 4th century BC, just as Egyptian astronomy had by the late 2nd century BC. Contrary to Mesopotamian tradition, this led to a heavy emphasis on the individual's birth chart and the development of horoscopic astrology, which made use of the ascendant, the ecliptic's rising degree at the moment of birth, and the 12 houses. Another significant advance in the categorization of the 12 signs was the connection between the astrological signs and the 4 classical elements of Empedocles. In Ptolemy's Tetrabiblos, the body of the Hellenistic astrological tradition as it existed by the 2nd century is detailed. This is the foundational book for the astrological tradition, not only in the West, but also in India and the Islamic world. It has been a source of inspiration for nearly 17 centuries, with only minor alterations to its essential ideas occurring in subsequent traditions. There are 6 opposing pairs for each of the 12 signs. Earth and water are opposites, as are the elements of fire and air. Winter indications are in opposition to summer ones, and vice versa for spring and fall signs. The polarity of the zodiac in Western astrology refers to the alignment of a sign's energy as either positive or negative, with numerous traits attributed to them as a result. It divides the zodiac in half. The 6 odd-numbered zodiac signs are positive polarity signs, commonly known as vigorous, yang, expressive, or masculine signs. The fire and air triplicities are made up of good signs. The 6 even-numbered zodiac signs of Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces are known as negative polarity signs. They are also referred to as passive, yin, receptive, or feminine signs. The earth and water triplicities are made up of unfavorable signs. In the 5th century BC, the Greek philosopher Empedocles classified the elements as fire, earth, air, and water. He described how 2 opposing principles, love and strife, interact to mold the components into various mixes that give rise to the many natures of things. He said that each component is equal, the same age, rules its own region, and has its own distinct personality. According to Empedocles, people who are born with almost equal ratios of the elements are smarter and have the most precise perceptions. The idea that the sun, moon, and planets are more potent and efficient in some signs than others because their fundamental natures are believed to be in harmony is a traditional astrological belief called as essential dignity. As a result of their natures being in conflict, they are believed to perceive some signs to be weak or difficult to work in. Dignity, detriment, exaltation, and fall are these categories. Dignity and harm: if a planet is in the sign it rules, it is strengthened or dignified. It is claimed to exercise rulership of the sign, in other words. The moon in Cancer, for instance, is regarded as powerful, well dignified. A planet is said to be weak or in harm's way if it is in the sign that it rules or is dignified in, for example, the moon in Capricorn. This could be referred to as a debility. In addition to rulership, various degrees of dignity are recognized in traditional astrology. Exaltation, triplicity, terms or bounds, and face or decan are known as describing a planet's essential dignity, the quality or ability of one's actual nature. Together, these four terms are known as describing a planet's dignity. Exaltation and fall. When a planet is exalted, it is also strengthened. This represents a dignity that is somewhat below rulership in conventional horary astrology. Exaltation was thought to bestow on the significance of the planets the dignity of an honored guest, the center of attention, yet with some degree of restraint. Saturn, Libra, the Sun, Aries, Venus, Pisces, the Moon, Taurus, Mercury, Virgo, Mars, Capricorn, and Jupiter are some examples of planets in their exaltation. Cancer. A planet in the opposite sign is weaker than detriment because it is in its fall and in that sign. There is disagreement over which signs the two extra-Saturnian planets should be regarded as exalted. Each sign can be divided into 3 decans or decanates of 10 degrees, though these are no longer used. The first decanate, which is regulated by the sign ruler, is thought to be the most strongly of its own nature. The planet controlling the following sign in the same triplicity subrules the following decanate. The following decanate subrules the previous one in the same triplicity of order. While a sign can be defined by its element and modality alone, they can also be grouped to show its meaning. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer are the first 4 signs that make up the group of personal signs. The group of social signs is composed of the following 4 signs: Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces are the final 4 zodiac signs, making up the group of transpersonal signs. The main elements of the tropical zodiac, which are included in the Raza School of Astrology's curriculum, were provided by Dane Rudyard. In contrast to the sidereal zodiac, the tropical zodiac is the zodiac of seasonal influences, constellation factors. The main seasonal characteristics are determined by the varying ratio of daylight to nighttime throughout the year. The first consideration is whether the selected time comes during the part of the year when daylight hours increase or decrease. The second consideration is whether the selected time occurs in the half of the year with more daylight than night or the other way around. The third component, determined by the first 2 criteria, is which of the 4 seasons the selected period falls in. In the spring, the amount of daylight increases and outweighs the amount of darkness. In the summer, when the amount of daylight exceeds the amount of darkness, darkness increases. In the autumn, the amount of darkness increases and outweighs the amount of brightness. Winter is a time of year when the amount of daylight is growing and the amount of darkness is increasing. There are 5 elements in Indian astrology: fire, earth, land, air, water, and ether. Mars is the master of fire, while Mercury rules the land, Saturn rules the air, Venus rules the sea, and Jupiter rules the ether. 12 zodiac signs that correspond to those in Western astrology are recognized in Jyotish astrology. In both systems, the signs' relationship to the elements is the same. According to Hindu astronomy and astrology, a nakshatra, also known as a lunar mansion, is one of the 27 divisions of the sky marked by notable stars. Nakshatra also refers to stars in Sanskrit, Kannada, Tulu, Tamil, and Prakrit. Chinese astrology uses cycles of years, lunar months, and 2-hour portions of the day to determine the signs, also known as Shirchan. The Chinese zodiac's operation in a 60-year cycle in conjunction with the 5 phases of Chinese astrology is one of its unique characteristics: wood, fire, metal, water, and earth. However, according to certain studies, there is a clear connection between the Chinese 12-year cycle and the constellations of the zodiac. Each year of the cycle corresponds to a particular deployment of Jupiter. Jupiter, for instance, is in the sign of Gemini in the year of the snake, the sign of Cancer in the year of the horse, and so forth. A solar lunar Jovian calendar is what the 12-year Chinese calendar is. The 12 animal signs that make up the Chinese zodiac stand for the 12 various personality kinds. There are numerous legends about the Chinese zodiac's origins that explain why the sign of the rat typically marks the beginning of the zodiac. The 12 zodiac signs are known as the 12 earthly branches when they are included in the 60-year calendar together with the 4 elements. The changeover days in a month, when one sign changes to another sign, vary every year since the Chinese zodiac is based on the lunisolar Chinese calendar, 50. The order of the 12 zodiac signs is as follows. In a 60-year calendar, the 5 elements and the 12 animal signs coexist. The 10 celestial stems, also known as the 5 elements, are depicted on the calendar in both their yin and yang forms. According to the yin/yang divide found in the Gregorian calendar, years with even final numbers are yang, representing masculine, active, and light, and those with odd final numbers are yin, representing feminine, passive, and darkness, provided that Chinese New Year has passed. That was for today. Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel.